What's up, YouTube? Just driving in my truck, my Taco, TRD PRO, manual, solar octane, as you know. Just headed to find some chaga. For those of you who don't know what chaga is, it's a very hard mushroom that grows on birch trees. And it's quite hard to find. But earlier in the summer, when I was out running on the trails, I found a tree that had chaga on it. So now that it's winter, I'm gonna go harvest some. They say you're supposed to harvest chaga when it's below -20 for the best results and best flavor for making chaga tea. And yeah, we're at -22 right now. That's Celsius. So I'm in Canada, and yeah, actually, it's funny. There's only 3 countries in the world that use Fahrenheit. America being one of them. The other 2 are the Cayman Islands and Liberia, which is a small Western African country. It's kind of odd that America's decided to, you know, use Fahrenheit. Always got to be an individual. Isn't that right, America? But yeah, it's the first day I'm kind of testing out my winter tires. They're the Nokian, I should say. Hakkapeliitta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But they're studded. I've never had studded tires before. And here in Alberta, you're allowed to have studded tires. And yeah, so far they're good. The roads are quite snowy, quite icy. But yeah, they handle quite well. And yeah, so Nokian's actually they actually graded snow tires, which is pretty interesting. They're a Finnish company. Sounds very similar to their cell phone company in Finland, Nokia. You just add an end and you have the tires. But yeah, they're good. I've liked them so far. But yeah, they're Finnish, but made in Russia. I saw. So I don't know if all Hakkapeliitta are made in Russia, but yeah, so far so good. And I got them on the TRD off-road rims, and they're great. You know, they look good, fantastic. But yeah, I wanted to talk about how the manual drives. Now, the throws are real long, to be expected in a truck. But what's quite interesting is I was driving the Toyota Hilux, or Helix, I don't know how you pronounce it, in South Africa, I don't know, in September, a few months ago. And they share a lot of parts. So the Helix is the Tacoma for the rest of the world, basically. North America is, that's where the Tacoma is. And the Helix is more of a industrial Tacoma. More of a tool than a lifestyle truck, you know? But it was a manual as well, 6-speed. It was diesel, but it was 6-speed manual. And it feels the same. It really does. Like, so I don't know if it's the same transmission or not, but it feels very similar. You know, if you're buying the manual Tacoma and expecting like a sports car feel, you're not going to get that. It is very clunky and loud. Yeah, it's definitely not. You know, it's a truck transmission. It is. It feels robust. It feels industrial. It feels that it's gonna last forever. And that's what you want, you know? That's what this truck's all about. Unlike the new 4th gen. I don't know. I'll be interested to see, you know, when the 4th gen comes out. 24. My neighbor's actually buying the TRD PRO 4th gen. And yeah, I like to compare the two. Because it's a whole nother animal though. You know, it's gonna be very expensive. I think the 3rd gen TRD Pro is going to be very similar to the 4th gen TRD Off-Road in the comparison to the pricing. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, can't really go too fast. It's quite snowy and icy. Let's give you a little idea of what I'm looking at here on the roads. So I haven't made anybody dizzy. But yeah, it definitely makes the V6, the 3.5, a little more fun. And I've noticed when you got your foot into the throttle, and as soon as you hit 3,000 or just below 3,000, it kind of has almost a VTEC kind of feel. It sounds different. It has more power all of a sudden. So I don't know if that's when it's switching from the port injection to the fuel injection, because it's got both, right? So I love that, because then you don't get that carbon buildup on the valves. But yeah, it kind of feels like Honda's VTEC in a sense, and it loves to rev this 3.5 V6. It does. But it makes sense because it's actually a car engine. You know, it's a Camry engine. You know, Toyota's been using this 3.5 for many moons. Actually, Lotus uses this, a supercharged version of 3.5 V6 in some other vehicles. Oh, I just stalled. Still getting used to it. Driving in the snow. Gotta use a little more throttle. Another thing with the manual, you don't have any hill assist. You know, if you're on a hill and you hit the brake and then you let go of the brake, you're rolling back. A lot of modern manuals, like my Miata, for example, you have 3 seconds of brake hold, right? Which is nice. So yeah, if you don't really know where that clutch engagement is, you can use the emergency brake on the emergency brake, actually. So it's a manual emergency brake in the 3rd gen. The 4th gen, you can get a manual, but it has an electric park brake, which you know, it's so annoying. But that's how it's nice. Toyota's still offering a manual, right? Other than Tacoma and the Gladiator is really the only other truck, you know, you can get a manual in as of now. But yeah, these tires, I'm just going down a pretty steep hill here, snow covered, ice. And these studded tires, they're gripping. Feels good. Feels real good. Yeah. Anyways, I'll pause it here, and then I'll cut to me harvesting some chaga in -22.